I'm the Hive Mind.
And I am the Swarm Lord
Do you want to tell everybody why you're the Swarm Lord?
because I have cats.
Yeah, a swarm of cats. And today, as you may have guessed, we are talking about Combat Patrol Tyranids.
We are. So in this combat patrol, we get one winged Tyranid Prime, one Psychophage, three Von Ryan's Leapers, five Barbgunts, 20 Termagants armed with flesh borers. That sounds awful. And two Ripper Swarms, which also sound terrible.
That's a lot of models.
It is a lot of models.
So this cost $168 if you buy it as this box. Do you want to guess how much all this would cost if you bought it as individual kits?
I'm going to guess $200.
It's more than that.
Really?
Yeah, it is $289, which makes this box normally it would be a really good value. You would save $121.
That's a lot.
But there's a way to save even more money, and that is to buy the ultimate starter. And we can talk about that a little bit later.
Fair enough.
So you've played against this box.
I have.
You've not piloted it, but you played against it.
I have.
What do you think of this box in the game of Combat Patrol?
So I played orcs against it,
Mm-hmm.
and it was pretty fun. I really enjoyed because the orcs also kind of do like a swarmy type of deal. I enjoyed um, the aspect of just everything piling in on each other. I also really enjoyed when the Squig Hog boys killed the Psychophage, which is the giant spider looking dude with tentacles on his face.
Yes, yeah. I think that this kit is, or this box is really fun to play. I don't know how effective it is. I've played it a couple times. I think I've only won with it once.
Mm.
But it's a fun one. The models all do really different stuff.
They do. Yep. I remember playing against it. The Tyranid Prime actually flies, and so trying to get that guy was really hard. It was a challenge.
Yeah, it can be hard to catch. Yeah, it can be hard to pin down. And then the Von Ryan's Leapers kind of they get to use a stratagem called heroic intervention, so they get to kind of leap in the way of your normal attacks.
Mm-hmm.
The Barbgunts have a pretty powerful gun
Mm-hmm.
comparatively for Tyranids, and so and then the Termagants kind of swarm and shoot. Their guns aren't individually powerful, but they get a lot of shots. And so you get to do a lot of different stuff with this box.
You do like playing against it. You did a ton of different things, and it all worked really well together, and it was really fun to play against.
Yeah, yeah. This is a fun box to play. It's a fun box to play against. I think if the Ultimate Starter didn't exist, I think this would be one of the best Combat Patrols to buy.
For sure.
Um, I also think the kits look really cool.
They do. So the Psychophage is, like I said, is that giant spider looking dude with tentacles on its face. Also has like this rage on its back that looks like fire or acid like coming out of like funnels on its back.
Yeah, he's kind of spewing acid. I can't remember what his attack is called in the game, but it essentially he spews acid on you. And I think the Tyranid Prime, his wings are in kind of an awkward position, but I think that's intentional to make him more playable. In the past, some of the winged models, their wings kind of overhang their base a little bit, and it kind of makes them hard to move around the battlefield. They're always bumping into stuff, and you know they get caught on the little edge of a piece of terrain or whatever. And so I think having his wings kind of folded that way, even though it may not really look the coolest, like his wings could be way spread out, and he could look like he's taking flight, and maybe he would look a little cooler. But I think that the way his wings are posed makes him a lot more playable, and I still think he looks pretty cool.
He does.
The Rippers haven't changed a ton. They look a little better than the old Ripper. And I think that the Termagants themselves look so much better than the old Termagants. They were just in these really static poses, and these are a little more dynamic. They have a little bit more detail. They are a little more scrunched up. The old Termagant was a really long model. Its tail just stuck straight out from its body.
Woof.
And it made moving it around the table kind of a pain in the ass. So, and I think the Von Ryan's Leapers look great. I think that is just one of the coolest kits that they've done in a while. So overall, I like the look of this box. I like the way it plays in Combat Patrol. I think it's both fun to play with and to play against, and I think that's important.
Oh, yeah.
So how do we feel about this as a 40K starter box?
I mean, I'm feeling pretty good about it, especially after hearing how much you're going to save buying the Combat Patrol versus all of these things individually.
See, I don't feel good about it. And
No?
The reason I don't feel good about it is because the Ultimate Starter exists.
Oh, yes.
So in the Ultimate Starter, for $210, you get all of this, and you get Combat Patrol Space Marine.
Fair point.
Which, if Space Marine 2 is what brought you to Warhammer, you kind of get to play Space Marine 2 out on the tabletop. And you're saving a huge amount of money by buying this and the Space Marine Combat Patrol together in the Ultimate Starter. Because you also get dice, you also get terrain, you get measuring sticks, you get index cards, you get a rule book, and you get quick start rules.
That's a killer deal.
It's a great deal. And if you are interested in Space Marines or Tyranids, I think the Ultimate Starter is just the best place to start 40K. It does diminish the value of this box quite a bit, but if you really wanted to play Tyranids, what you could do is you could buy the Ultimate Starter, and then you have Combat Patrol Space Marine to rope your friends and family into playing the game.
Yep.
And then you could buy a second Combat Patrol Tyranids, and you're not really throwing money away because you're still saving a pretty big chunk of money.
You are.
By buying this instead of the individual kits. And then you have, as far as model count goes, you have a huge Tyranid army to start with. You have a lot of models to put on the table and start playing the game. So I feel like that's really where this kit has some value, is as a supplement to the starter, as opposed to buying it just by itself.
Fair point.
So overall, I kind of hate to put this one in the middle because you do save $121 over buying these kits individually. But I do think it's kind of a middle of the road one, because you really probably just want to buy the Ultimate Starter, and then if you really want to play Tyranids as an army, then maybe you pick this up to supplement your force.
Fair points.
So I have been the Hive Mind.
And I've been the Swarm Lord.
The Cat Lord. And be sure to check out our other episodes. We'll have some more Combat Patrol reviews, and we will have some list building videos. Those will all start with taking 2 of the same Combat Patrol, putting them together, and then adding kits to get up to 1,000, 1,500, and 2,000 points.
Thanks for tuning in.